Hello. We're changing a trans. How about that? Never done that before, right?
So what's the plan here, kid? We're gonna pull the transmission out, put another transmission in. Is the clutch okay?
Of course the clutch is okay.
The clutch is great.
Why would we ever ruin a clutch? We don't do that.
The clutch is living its best life.
It really is. I think we finally found a good clutch combination because this one's doing fantastic.
Good.
And we kind of found out on race week that we might need to break our clutches in just a little bit more.
So we went to PRI.
Yep.
And you went and visited Liberty Gears.
Yes. We spent a lot of time with them, like 2 hours.
Yeah, poor Donald. I was just talking his ear off.
John Donald, but he goes by Donald, but I call him John.
John Donald.
Hello, we're at PRI here with John. You guys have been asking me, what is faceplating? What's the difference between a faceplated trans and a synchronized trans? So who better than Mr. Liberty himself to explain the difference between the two?
Let's start out with explaining a synchronized gear set. A synchronized gear has many synchronizer teeth on it to engage with the slider to transfer power through it. As the gear set's rotating and you're applying your synchronizer on the gear, it's going to depress the synchronizer ring and it's going to slow it down to engage the gear. At certain RPMs, this friction lining becomes inefficient to slow down the gear for the engagement. So therefore, higher horsepower and guys that want to spin a lot of RPMs, they'll go to a faceplated style engagement. The key benefit to that is there's virtually no limit to RPM shifting. You could spin it to 16,000 RPMs, you flip the clutch or brake power with a strain gauge, you can shift this transmission into gear. If you spin this synchronizer a lot faster than what it's rated for, you're gonna grind and bump all these synchronizer teeth off of the slider or the gear, and you'll virtually make this unusable. It'll be very unenjoyable to drive. Faceplating really comes in with high RPM shifts. Faceplating does increase shock load, so we do 4 metal treatments to get our gear sets to live on a factory helical gear. We do draw or thermal stabilization. We rock weld the gear, test the hardness. From there, we have a value that we use in mind. At the shop, we bring the brittleness of the gear down for the shock load for the faceplate. Bring the gear back from the thermal stabilization and we'll send it out to cryogenic process. It's a deep freeze for 48 hours and it realigns the molecular structure of the gear and brings impurities out of the gear. It comes back from cryogenic processing. We are going to re-rock weld the gear just to make sure that everything is stabilized. After we verify that everything's stabilized, we will send the gear to our shop peen department. What that is a high pressure air shooting steel shot at the gear. And what that does is it relaxes the material after the hot and cold processes so that there's no stress left in the gear. The final process we do is a surface enhancement, which is like a polish. It brings down noise, heat, and friction, just keeping everything nice and cool, and it also helps the shifting, very smooth shift, so that we can build you the best box we can have. We engineer every hub and slider for the faceplated gear set, as well as machining billet forks or heavier duty forks for the aggressive driving style. So there's a 7-degree back cut on this gear set here, and that's actually what holds this into gear. There are no detents in the synchronizer assembly to hold it into gear. 7-degree back cut under power holds it into gear. That's where you need to brake power with a strain gauge or flip in the clutch to be able to shift it and pull it out of gear to release the back cut.
Can you no lift shift a faceplated trans? Is that recommended? Is it not recommended? Is it frowned upon?
You can. It's not the nicest thing to it, but we will recommend that you do brake power at some point. So you can no lift shift. Again, clutch tunability and things of that nature are going to be a huge factor. You want to use the clutch to brake power or a strain gauge. The shock load is what's going to kill the gear. You know, a huge tire on a super grabby clutch, if there's nothing to forgive, something is going to take all that shock load and all the havoc.
Clutchless shift?
Clutchless shift, not recommended.
No,
because again, that 7-degree back cut is not going to allow you to to want to pull it out of gear. You're not breaking power at that point.
Okay, what's the difference between a face-plated and a pro-shifted?
Okay, so the Pro Shift is basically an early version on how the faceplating engineering came about. This is a very early option. You will see this in Ford top loaders, Muncies, things of that nature. It all developed on the synchronized assembly. The wide window of engagement really helps it go into gear. Also, we're putting a Pro ring on the gear, so there's, again, no friction that you have to worry about RPM matching to engage the gear. The wide window of engagement makes it so it's very hard to miss a shift, but it's going to want to go into gear. It's going to make noise, but again, you can rev it as high as you want to rev, and you shift it into gear, and it's going to want to go. The faceplated is kind of more modern technology where you have more surface area. So there's a lot more surface area. You get a lot more longevity out of the faceplated design because
A lot less likely to break those off than you are these.
yes.
Little guys.
Yep, the surface area, again, it kind of does on and off the throttle. It will rattle back and forth. It will be noisy. The Pro Shift, you just don't have the physical size here.
We'll be driving around town in my car, and I don't double clutch everything if we're just cruising. I'll just like slam it into gear.
Yeah.
Obviously, with intention of getting into gear, not
Yeah.
trying to do it slowly. Is that going to wear out the trans at all, as long as I'm getting it into every gear every time? And
No, so within a faceplated transmission, that is actually the best thing you can do for it. You drive it very aggressive. You want to drive it like you stole it, we say.
Okay.
When you do hesitate, again, you will deplete the back cut on that lug for the gear, and that's actually what wants to hold it into gear and drive it. So when you shift it hard, that's what you want to do.
Okay, that
you want to
makes
be
sense.
aggressive. Sometimes we say punch your hand through the radio and damn near rip the handle off coming back. So
there you go. You can stop yelling at me now. Yeah. I'll just
Yep.
be slamming every
Yeah.
gear at like, 3,000 RPM,
yeah.
not
Don't
going
hesitate.
fast.
Don't be lazy on the shifter. Yeah, you really want to commit to your shifts. And again, that is because of this back cut here. You don't want to deplete that.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. Hopefully this answers everybody's questions because I get them daily.
Sorry, I started out a little nervous.
No, it's okay. You did great, honestly. You explained things very well.
So they got you guys hooked up with a different transmission, or they fixed one that you already broke?
We already broke?
Oh,
I'm sorry.
What?
We fixed one that Billy blew the synchros out of second gear.
oh.
Yeah. So in second gear, they didn't even need to put the synchro on the lathe and grind it off. It was already done for them. So I got a discount for that. But first 3/4 is the synchros are gone. It's all faceplated now.
So they brought the transmission to you at PRI.
Yes.
Kinda.
Oh,
They brought it to PRI and I think they had it in their hotel room or something. So we had to go get it this morning.
Yeah, they brought it down.
yeah.
We woke them up this morning and they came down in their pajamas
Yeah.
with the transmission, had to leave the hotel to, yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of funny.
load.
You're silent. What are you today?
What did I just tell you? I'm like, I'm not
But
in
you're
this.
so photogenic
Right.
all the time. Look at this guy.
Look, Tony.
Right there. Look at that.
Yeah.
All of it. That's all of it.
Yeah, I think the right size.
Measure twice, cut once.
What are you doing down there, huh? What angle are you trying to get over there, sir? What'd you do with my 12?
I don't know. I didn't touch it. This is your rodeo. You didn't find a 12?
No. Found 13. I was hoping maybe it'd be close enough, but it's not. My 12, I just did that with the 12, and I set it right there, and then it disappeared.
You having a breakdown?
I am. I'm going crazy.
Of course, there's an 11 and a 13.
I just used it.
Did you find your 12?
No, I found the stupid 12 that doesn't work. When you're filming, stop doing this. You did it during a whole Liberty
I do it
interview,
fine.
and it was terrible.
I don't film
He was
good.
on his feet when I was
My feet were hurting.
terrible. It looks like we're on a boat. The whole thing is just horrible.
Yeah.
Okay. Filming is not my specialty.
This is the guy that was just saying that his filming is the best in the world.
It is the best. I mean, only the people that can never say you're
Only,
good at.
only like-minded individuals like you, or
Like, you can never say you're the best at something. You can just have confidence. But when someone's constantly telling you you're good at something, you kind of gotta go with it.
yeah.
So after we put this in, if it's still daylight, what are we gonna do?
Doesn't matter if it's daylight. I can whoop your ass at night.
I can do it early in the morning.
True. Yeah, that's out finally. I
Dude,
stopped hiding my 12.
All's a shifter, and that's it. It comes out.
Oh yeah.
You getting that?
No.
This transmission looks brand new. I don't know.
It is.
Oh,
Took it to one race. Made it 2 rounds. Went slower than me.
I had a throttle stop.
I had a scooter stop. Same car.
Yeah, but you're lighter, so the throttle stop is different.
That was how I got my 10th.
I just let you feel good. Then you broke your arm, and then I couldn't put the draggy in there, and then we don't really know how fast it went that fast, but it was pretty fast.
You do that, and then you're gonna muscle it out of here.
Oh yeah? Muscle it?
Or we're gonna put a blonde wig on you and say it was me
Oh yeah.
with my good arm.
What's your job?
I'm the shaft holder.
Oh boy.
Ugh,
That's it. 105 pounds.
so buff.
Synchronized trick.
You can tell it looks synchronized.
Yeah, it looks
It's
synchronized.
gonna look a lot more synchronized than the other one.
Oh yeah, break loose.
It's the Hamlin Motorsports Anti-Tony Special Short Throw Shifter.
Anti-Tony.
When it's synchronized, but this is faceplate.
Well, you haven't tried it yet,
Oh, it doesn't
so
matter.
you still
I
might
could
not be
shift
able
this
to
with my
shift
toes, and it'd be fine. I could shift it from the back seat. I could just think about shifting it, just kind of go in here.
We put this short throw shifter on the TKX in my Maverick, and afterwards Tony kept missing second gear.
This is very true.
But he is right. It was a synchronized transmission. This is a faceplated, so it's a lot easier to get in gear.
Oh yeah,
But I can still hope.
it's gonna be like butter.
Like butter, Tess.
Butter.
It's gonna be like butter.
Butter.
Butter. Did you say butt?
But
Don't say butt in front of Tony. That gets him too excited. He
Butt
won't be able
what?
to pay attention.
I don't pay attention to this.
That's not the right branch. What'd you do with my branch? Oh, a lot of good it does me over there.
Oh, so that's the recommended fluid. Shockproof.
We don't need synchro mesh when we got no synchros?
Yeah,
Synchro mesh didn't save the other trans, or well, I guess this one didn't save the synchros.
yeah.
From old Billy's 8,000 RPM launch, I'm trying to shift it at 9,000. Look at that, look at glue.
Oh, that's
nice.
pretty.
I like glue.
Want a funnel?
No, I'm gonna have great aim.
Nice.
Oh, got a little. Make sure I don't hit my head on the wheel. Whoa! Yeah, get in there. Ah! Look at that. Right in there.
Yeah,
Good?
like butter. Yeah. Blast that sumbitch in there.
No, you gotta torque it. I'm not gonna blast it.
What's left after this? Exhaust?
Exhaust.
Lack thereof. Torque to spec. How's that trans install?
Yeah, it's good. It's installed. You can tell because there's face plates in it now. You can see it right there.
Face plates.
Yeah, there's plates of face in there.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. What?
What are we doing?
I'm starting it. Make sure it still starts after a transmission change, because
Yeah.
you know that can prevent it from starting.
brakes suck in this.
Yeah. Let's go.
Oh, we're not stopping. Jesus. It's already in. So weird. I feel like it's not going in, but it's in. It's not even like clunking.
That's weird.
Yeah.
It's not nearly as loud
That's so
as
weird.
the 500.
Yeah, the 500 is like bang every time. Huh? What? Yeah, it goes in.
Just like that.
I mean, it shifts fast. It just like it doesn't bang into gear, which is I'm not used to. So the most mild face-plated trans ever, the TKX.
Donald knew it was for us, so he did it real sweet like.
Real sweet, like.
Oh, you gotta. I wasn't filming. I wasn't filming. You're not gonna beat on it. You're just.
No, I'm just like quarter throttle. To make sure the brakes work. I don't want to go more than like 30 miles an hour with the brakes. No brakes. Super safe. Yeah.
So if everybody's wondering why we're not beating on it real hard, it's because it just rained not too long ago. And we don't want
The
to.
ground is very wet, and where it's not wet, it's dusty. Funny, I guess. Yeah, see, wet ground.
Yeah, like ground.
Making sure it shifts. And I have no brakes.
Yeah. Look at that handsome guy. What's this guy doing?
Does it drive okay?
Yeah. Yeah. Got it going.
Well,
That trans is severely badass.
severely bad.
It's fucking badass. It doesn't even clunk.
Okay, so
Really?
the first couple times, like first gear, pull it out of the driveway, went to shift it in second, and I felt like it didn't go in because the short
can't
throw
feel it.
shifter, it moves like an inch from
maybe.
first to second.
Yeah.
And it went in so smoothly, it felt like I just pulled it out of first gear and like didn't go into second.
I noticed it when I moved it this morning. I moved it from the front shop to the back. I was like, is this thing in gear? Because
Yeah.
it just barely
Yeah.
moves and you can't tell.
We can take springs out. It's really tight side to side, so we're gonna take a spring out so it's a little bit, but it's good.
It's awesome.
Fast shifting
Yes,
deal.
it's gonna
Yeah,
be.
it
It's
took me a second to get used to like.
Will you have to let off the gas or can you just pull it?
you have to
You
let off a little bit.
let off just a tiny bit. You have to
Just take
release
pressure off.
because the way the gears, so the lugs on there are like this. So they, as long as they're against each other, if you try and shift it while you're still pushing against it, it can shear off the like lip that holds it in. So if you let off just a tiny bit, it'll
So all you gotta do is just go real quick with your foot
Yeah.
just to
On-
take
yeah.
pressure off.
just you don't.
You don't even have to
push.
touch the clutch, just
You can use a strain gauge. That's how they recommend it, or a rev limiter, just to loosen that gear up a little. I mean, he said it's so instantaneous, but if you don't do that, the lugs are back cut, so they kind of fit in like a wedge. So it has to loosen it up a little bit, but you'll be good. So.
Just a
how's the
little
clutch
bit.
feel?
It's the same basic clutch that I have in my Maverick, but it feels so different because it's a cable versus the hydraulic. It's just like you can feel in the pedal where it's grabbing or it's not grabbing. So I like it better. It's harder on the leg, but
Yeah,
I like feeling it better.
It's gonna be fast. This is gonna be great. So, all right. We're up.
Take it down to the pad. Maybe we could hit some tracks on the way down and do some testing.